And we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. I'm Aaron Clements here with co-host David Clark.
Good morning.
Good morning, David.
Hey, you've already seen this episode. You went into the future and came back.
Yeah,
and so we have got it exciting
promo deal that we played yesterday. Yeah, it was pretty good. Everything seemed to go pretty smooth, so I think we'll do fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. That'll make you think about it.
Yeah, we looked through all the hiccups that we had, but I think we're going to fix that.
Yeah, we did. So. We got it all squared away. Okay, we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. We're here live at a two-car garage in Evans, Georgia. And the reason we're here, we are here with Lane Smoak of Garage Experts of Augusta, and we wanted to be in just a normal garage. Lane said I could find some real big ones and with all this fancy, all kind of stuff that they've done in there. But we wanted to be at an everyday garage that gets used. There's a lot of garages that are for looks, and people they have them looking beautiful. They have cars stored all in them, but they're not just a garage that's in use full time. An operational garage, we'll call it that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Operational garages, things that you can do in your garage to make it look good, function good, but be useful, operate and do what it's supposed to do. So we're here. We'll be talking about organizing garages. And what's good about that is now we have a mechanical person you can call. We have a collision expert who is also very knowledgeable on automotive insurance type stuff, David Clark. And now we have Lane Smoak, who is a a garage expert. And he could tell us different things about organizing your garage or also making it look really good. He kind of specializes in the flooring side of it.
Man, this floor in here is nice.
It is, and we're in this garage here. It's got a beautiful floor in it. And like I mentioned, it's functional things. And with the garage, you can go as little or as much as you want. You can make it do whatever you want to do. So we want you to call in. You're welcome to give us a call and ask the question on any of those items at 800-224-9090. And for our new listeners, the C&C Auto Show is a call-in talk radio show, and it's heard weekly on 122 radio stations nationwide, delivering automotive news, repair information, and consumer advice to hundreds of thousands of vehicle owners and car lovers across America. You can reach us 800-224-9090. And also, you can listen to us on your favorite station, or you can go to facebook.com, listen to us, watch us there, and listen to us. And then you can go to ccautoshow.com and watch the show. Now, ccautoshow.com, that comes from Kingdom Web Pros. They're an awesome website company, and they can take your business to the next level. Lane, welcome again to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we thank you for being here. We are in the atmosphere that it can help generate a lot of great questions for us that we might have to ask you. And, of course, since it's your specialty, we'll start with flooring. Tell us a little bit about garage flooring and your company as you go. Tell us a little bit about Garage Experts of Augusta. And we realize this is being played in a lot of other places, so there's a lot of things that you'll have there, but also you'll be discussing things that'll benefit people all around the country. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Garage Experts is a nationally backed franchise. I own the Augusta location, but there are, I don't know off the top of my head, but probably close to 100 locations across America. And Garage Experts specializes in epoxy flooring. We do polyaspartic flooring as well. We do garage cabinetry, and we do garage storage solutions. So all of those, as you see in the garage we're in today, there's flake floors. We do a ton of those. And those are very versatile coatings for the general homeowner. Number one, they transform the garage. They transform the aesthetics, and they're functional as well. So they're very easy to clean. And if you have kids, if they're playing in the garage quite a bit, it's easier on their knees. Beautiful floors. So we do that. We do, like I said, fully custom garage cabinetry. That starts with a design consultation with myself. And we come in and meet with the homeowner and tell them what their options are for what they've got. and design configurations for them. We do overhead storage, so ceiling racks. We do slat wall, you name it. We do garage organization and flooring.
Man, that's awesome. Like this, I mean, this floor obviously is not, it's slip resistant, right? Like you're coming in here and busting your butt. And that can, if you don't have that coating on the floor, you get out and it's wet, my kids run through my garage all the time. I mean, I got 14, 10, and 4, and then they got all their little buddies that come running through there all at the same time. And my wife, it seems like everything piles up in the doorway, right? Like they just come to the door and they start dropping everything. So this is the obstacle course to get in there, and it drives my wife insane to have to organize everything.
And what you're talking about is exactly why I wanted Lane to be here.
Yeah.
Because there's things that can be done in that garage to make it to where when they come in, instead of just dropping everything on the floor and going over here, there's certain things that you can have that will make it to where they'll have a spot to go, somewhere to put the shoes, somewhere to put the raincoats, and somewhere to put the different balls and things like that. And I see a lot of the racks that hang from the ceilings that people put all their balls in that, like footballs and baseballs and all that type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say for kids and small people, slat wall works great because we can mount that whatever height you want on the wall, and we can put these hooks in there on eye level with the kids so that they can put their things back rather than you having to do it for them if it's a higher system. So we've got baskets that we can put in there, catch-all for sporting equipment, footballs, like you just said. It's easy for them to toss them in there and kind of do their own thing rather than you having to come out there and clean up for them. So it teaches them to clean up after themselves and leaves you with a neat garage too.
Mm-hmm. That there's a lot of people in this area play golf. They love to play golf, and of course they come in with their golf clubs. Where would they put those? What's the best way to do golf clubs? Would that be a cabinet? Is there a thing that they can hang on the wall, or what would that be?
Yeah, so great question. It really comes down to budget and expectations, but slat wall is obviously going to be a lot cheaper than a full cabinet system. If you really want things out of the way and tucked behind doors, then a cabinet system's great if you're willing to spend the money on it. Mm-hmm. But if budget doesn't allow, then slat wall is great. And even if you're a do-it-yourselfer, Amazon has golf club racks that just little steel shelves that you can put them on, and it's got a spot for the balls, the tees, the golf bag, all that sort of stuff, and just gets it off the floor and looks neat.
Well, we've got that. So me and Trip play golf, and so my wife, because we will dump our golf bags right there as soon as we walk in the door, and she bought the rack, and
you have the rack?
We have the rack that you put your shoes and the balls and everything on, and she will tell you that we still do not go over to that side of the garage and put our golf clubs in it.
It takes an active effort. You really have to want to do it, but I'm OCD. I like things to be neat, and I like everything to have a place for itself.
Oh, so absolutely.
If you're willing to put the effort into it, you can make some nice garages that are functional.
Yeah. I got to ask you, what's the messiest garage you've been to that somebody really wanted to clean it up, make it look good, and do the floor? Do you see that from time to time, one in really rough shape?
Yeah, as far as storage-wise, whenever we come in, it's already somewhat cleaned up because they've got it in their mind. They want to do it, and before the consultation, they'll clean it up so we can walk around and everything. But flooring-wise, I've got a few examples for sure. We've come into fire-damaged garage floors. I don't know if you guys know, but whenever fire meets with concrete, it will pop it out. Mm-hmm. So we've seen garages with spalling and holes throughout the floor from fire damage that the concrete was fine, just needed a mortar repair. So we did that, filled in all the holes, and then did our flooring system over that and transformed it.
I got to know, do you ever run into, or have you ever run into a hoarder that wanted their garage to look good?
Not as often as you would think. The people that really want to spend money on their garage to make it look nice and organized aren't that type. But every now and then we'll run into a garage where there's stuff everywhere. But the first step of the organization process is really committing to it, going through everything you have, organizing that into separate categories, and getting rid of the stuff that you don't absolutely need.
Yeah.
If you really want to put the time into organizing it, you need to get rid of that stuff that you've got that's accumulated that you're never going to use, just so you can hone in on what you need.
Yes. I got a fairly large garage, and I had hopes of really making mine look extra good, but they're all things that I use, but I got a bunch of them. Like we have the 0-turn lawnmower type deal. We have the 2 dirt bikes in there. We have side-by-sides in there, about 3, 4, 5 cars in there, which if I'm not mistaken, this garage here, they normally have a 65 Mustang in here, but it's having a top replaced on it, so it's not here today. But this is also a garage that houses a classic car. So in mentioning that part, just what's one of the first things that you would do when somebody says, hey, I would like to make my garage look better? And, of course, they would more than likely start with the floor. But what's some of the questions you would ask them?
Yeah, of course. So anytime any mechanical work's mentioned, I always like to start with the question, what will you be doing in this garage? The reason I do that is because this floor has a lot of speckles in it, and there's color variation, which is beautiful for a showpiece, but it's not quite as functional if you're working with small instruments, small screws, things like that, because if you drop it, you might need a magnet to find it. So anytime anybody mentions working on vehicles or small instruments in here, we've got other options we can do. We've got solid flakes, we've got smaller flakes, and both of those really mute the floor down to where it's functional, sealed, all that good stuff, but you can find small pieces on it. So that's what I would
start with a consultation. You would find out what they're going to do. I mean, if
Absolutely.
they're working on a car or working on different items, or if they want it to work with their golf. I mean, maybe they might even want a golf simulator in there or something like that. David, I see wheels turning with David over here when I'm saying that. Oh, golf in the winter, man. I love that.
Convert my garage over to a golf simulator now.
We've got plenty of clients who do that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we want to mix it up just a little bit, and I want to save time during this segment to do this part here because this is an important part of the show, and that is to go to David and say, what was the winning story for this week with Collision Safety Consultants of Central Georgia?
Well, I think, yesterday was kind of a big one for me. Is I had a customer reach out to me. They just recently had their car repaired and they were having a lot of issues, and the shop that was helping them had repaired the car, was not hearing that they had problems after the wreck and after they repaired it or repaired at it. So took the car in, we disassembled it, and when we disassembled it, man, it was an absolute disaster of what this car looks like right now. And so, it looks like right now the car's potentially going to be a total loss.
Wow.
Just for how bad the repairs were. I mean, the lady had taken the car to 2 other facilities before she chose the shop she ended up going to that her insurance company told her to go to. And, the other 2 shops said, hey, this is a total loss. The shop that she took it to with the insurance company, they tried to fix it, but they should have totaled it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of places in there where they could have used the cross-check method. And that would have helped them because there was a bolt that actually completely missed the bracket. Wow. I mean, it was sitting on the outside of it. So just shocking to me that somebody would give that back.
David, if I'm not mistaken, the items that you found on the vehicle were covered up. So unless somebody had a reason to take that stuff back off and look, that they never would have had any idea that the car was basically unwrecked on the outside as far as appearance, but still wrecked on the inside.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's why we had some photos of the bumpers and everything on the car. So from an outside perspective, it didn't look too bad, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, there's some
didn't
stuff.
Didn't line up good, but it didn't look too bad.
And then once we took the bumpers off, it was like, oh, my God, like what is happening? So that's the most important piece for consumers is you're going in there is – if something doesn't feel right, a lot of times when people bring me a car and they say, hey, this isn't lining up, something's wrong, their intuition is normally right. And for shops, you know, I've been on the shop side. You get frustrated when somebody's constantly bringing you something back.
Yeah.
But you got to start back over, and you got to address the problem. You got to hear the customer because they know their car. So that was my interesting one. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. I think I'm at like 30,000 views right now, 40,000 views. It's gotten hot. So, and that was yesterday afternoon. So,
wow. And that's all at Collision Safety Consultants of Central Georgia.
Yes, sir.
So jump on there if you want to look more into that. I mean, we were talking a little bit about the floor covering that we have here. Do you see that more and more than you did in the past? More people saying, well, I would like for my floor to have a covering. And do you see more existing houses, or do you see more new houses that want it done?
Yeah, so we do both. We've got plenty of clients who the second they close on a brand new build, they want us to come in prior to moving their stuff in and get the floor sealed so they don't have to worry about getting oil stains and all that on there. We want that to be the first thing that's done. We do plenty of older garages that have cracks and oil stains, and we'll properly degrease those oil stains prior to the coating. But we do them both ways. Some of the best transformations we see are the older garages that are cracked, or like we talked about in the last segment, fire damaged. So we can do full transformations on old concrete as well.
now I think, you know, this flooring that you have in here, obviously there's a lot of DIY people out there, right? And, you know, I don't know that people understand like the prep work aspect of what it takes to get this right so that it adheres properly. I mean, what do you see? Like, again, you said you go into old garages that have oil stains and things like that. And I know, obviously, if you don't get that stuff out, once this stuff can't bind to that, and then it'll start to lift, right? So,
That's
what do you feel like prep work, like when doing one of these things? That's probably super critical for you guys, right?
It sure is. And a lot of homeowners think, I'm going to just DIY this and save some money. But what they don't think is it's actually going to cost more money down the road when it fails, and then we have to come in and grind it all up prior to just putting the coating down. So the most important part of the whole process is prep. We come in with 750-pound diamond grinders. And what that is a big machine. It's got planetary bits on the bottom with diamonds encrusted in them. And it will cut the cap of the concrete so that we can expose that porous layer. And then when we put the product down on it, it's going to seep into those pores rather than just sitting on top. So we're also creating a scratch profile in there. It'd be similar to painting a car without sanding.
That's what I was thinking. As you're talking about that, you know, that piece of equipment that you're using to grind the floor up, all I'm thinking about is a DA for a car, and you put some sandpaper on there and you start to sand the panel down to prep it. That you're doing the same thing for this flooring before you put, you know, your coating on it.
100%. That is by far the most important process, and it's the one that gets looked over the most.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, if this stuff gets anything under it and you don't prep it right, like I can't imagine the mess trying to get it off.
And if you don't degrease that oil properly, it can actually leach through the coating over time as well. So it's important that you thoroughly degrease that.
What's the cure time on something like this? How long does it normally take? Is it, you know, temperature? You know, does that play effect into it?
100%. It sure does. So our summer cure times are much different than winter cure times. We utilize an epoxy base coat with a polyaspartic top coat, and both of those chemicals are completely different as far as cure goes. Epoxies cure off of heat, so on cold concrete, it's going to decelerate that cure time a good bit. And then what would be a one-day cure time in the summer would be a two-day job in the winter, whereas polyaspartics cure off of airflow combined with temperature, so they're going to remain pretty quick year-round. But, yeah, it definitely does play a big factor in it.
How about humidity? Obviously, in the South here, we get plenty of humidity. You go to the West Coast, and you guys have locations everywhere.
We do.
It's a little different there than it is here.
We do, yeah. Humidity plays a big factor as well. You don't want to apply a polyaspartic when it's too humid outside because they'll react with moisture and can leave blushing and solvent entrapment in there. So humidity definitely accelerates a polyaspartic, and it doesn't really affect epoxy too much.
So, like for us on the body shop side, you know, once we once we have something, let's just say it's got a little trash or something, we can go back and polish it out. You're not buffing this floor if there's something under it. So, yeah, that's probably pretty critical to make sure after your prep work that you got it completely cleaned and you've allowed everything to adhere like it's supposed to.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you get solvent entrapment on these floors, forget it. Grind it up and do it again.
Whew, that could be expensive.
It can.
Now, there's some people that would rather have just the polished out concrete. A coating, just a clear coating on regular concrete. And when you do that, what would you do? Go in and just sand it down and make it nice and smooth looking, and then put the covering over it?
So essentially, yes. We'll use those diamond grinders that I mentioned a minute ago. We'll use 30 grit diamonds to open those pores up. But the 30 grit diamonds will leave a deeper scratch pattern in the concrete. So we'll go after that and do an 80 grit diamond just to hone those out. And somewhat do a semi-polished on there, and then we'll put, depending on what it's being used for, epoxies, polyaspartics, or urethanes on that. We typically do 2 coats to make sure it's sealed well, but that's the very, very vague general process of how it's done.
Like I see that a lot of times in some of the warehouses like Sam's or Costco or some of the large stores like that. They'll go in and just polish the existing concrete, and really it looks good.
Oh, yeah.
I think for a garage, though, I think this looks much better. It's got a lot more class to it and just makes the room look better. But there might be some cases, like, for instance, an automotive garage or a truck garage that may just want to polish concrete.
Absolutely.
What's the warranty on this?
So in our garages, we've got a lifetime warranty for adhesion to the concrete and a 10-year warranty for staining.
Okay.
We recommend whenever you notice that something spilled on it, getting it up as quickly as possible. If you leave a transmission fluid sitting on there for months on end and it dries, that can be much of a bigger challenge to get up than, say, if you get it up in 5 or 10 minutes. But these coatings are designed to make that stuff bead up on it and be easy to clean.
Okay.
Now we welcome Tony Ingram to the C&C Auto Show.
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we got you now. We appreciate you giving us a call.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Tony, before we get started, I got to say something that is pretty awesome. I want to say congratulations on the beautiful facility that Advanced Auto Parts just opened in North Augusta. That's less than 5 miles from our downtown Augusta location.
Awesome.
They called it like a hub,
definitely
and
nice
it's
one.
a DIY and
Really?
commercial. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. Yeah. Now I hadn't been there, but that's what everybody's telling me, and I did see the pictures. It was kind of a big announcement in this area that they had in many places. So it was really good.
Yeah, come on down. Check it out for yourself. We'd love to have you.
Well,
We'll sell you some car wash while you're there, too.
I do plan to be there. I was hoping to get your thoughts on washing and waxing for a vehicle. And if we could, we'll start with the basics, like for someone who's never given it much thought. What's a real difference between washing and waxing a vehicle, and why do both matter for the life of a car?
Yeah, it's a great question. So washing the car is just kind of your routine maintenance, removing the dirt and surface contaminants off your paint to keep it looking fresh and new and keep it lasting longer. Waxing is actually adding a layer of protection on top of your paint and clear coat to help prevent damage, but also to add the additional gloss and pop that people love in a nice shiny car.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people just grab whatever soap they have. I see people use Dawn and all kind of other things. They grab it from under the kitchen sink and they take it out there. Why is that a mistake? And what's the right way to wash a vehicle without causing those little fine scratches? I know we've seen them before. A vehicle comes in when the light hits it just right. You see little scratches everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there's actually 2 parts to that, right? And I was guilty as a child washing my mom's car with dish soap. I think many people have been guilty of that. When you get a specific automotive car wash, They're specially formulated to remove the surface contaminants, but also leave that protective layer, that waxed, right, or whatever coating you have in the vehicle, on the vehicle. So you don't want to use something that's too harsh because it will strip away the wax, and then now you have no protection in the vehicle. So that's why it's very important to use the right car wash, and some will even have some wax in it to add a little bit of additional protection. The swirl marks are more a byproduct of the washing or the drying process, right? So if you think about a really dirty car, what's on there? You got dirt and road grime and grit and stuff. So whatever you're using to wash your vehicle, whether it's a sponge or a microfiber towel, whatever the case may be, you want to flush that out pretty regularly, because otherwise all that stuff, right, you're just rubbing it back into the paint. Same thing with the drying process. You want a clean, fluffy, appropriate drying media to remove the remaining water off the vehicle without actually introducing fractions by rubbing surface contaminants in, right? So two different things. So to sum it up, you need to use but you also need to use the right process.
Yeah. And rubbing it around if there's any grit or anything like that in the water and soap that you're using, all you're doing is it's like sandpaper on the paint, real fine sandpaper, but it still has the same effect.
100%.
Yeah. Now, when it comes 100%, to waxing,
that's where you get the swirl marks.
Yeah, and when a person has paid a huge amount of money, especially when you get into some of these classic cars that we see a lot at these car shows that we go to, people spend a lot of money on those, and they don't. That swirl mark can mess them up. Mess up the whole deal. Now, when it comes to waxing, there's sprays, liquid paste, and now, of course, we have ceramic coatings on the shelves. How's a customer figure out which one of those are the right thing for them to use?
Yeah, great question, because I get that question a lot because there's so much stuff. And I like to answer that question with a question, and it's going to be very, very tailored to the individual. Are you the type of person who likes spending a Saturday afternoon, buffing on and caring for your car all day and you enjoy it, right? Or are you the type of person that it's a chore and you just want to get it done as efficiently as possible and move on? So if you want to put in that extra elbow grease, right, products that typically take a little bit more work, they tend to give you a slightly better end product, but they also tend to last longer as well. A lot of your quick waxes, spray on, rinse off, all those things, they're great. They have a place, because if it's more of a chore, but you just want to add that protection to your vehicle and maintain it properly, then you can go with that quick application product and get it over with quicker, so to speak. But whatever suits your needs best is the way to go. Because if you convince yourself you're going to spend half a day detailing your car, but the product fit in the corner in the garage, that doesn't do you any good. So it really comes down to the process that you want to do, how much you want to put into it. You've got a product that will suit your needs.
Yeah, I'm more of a get it done and over with kind of quick. I'm not a Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, wax off. No, I like to get it done. Now, how often should the average driver really be waxing their car, and does that change the seasons or with the seasons, like the climate or where they park, things like that?
Yeah. So short answer, yes. So all of that factors into it. I use ceramic coatings now, but when I used to use a conventional wax, I'd wax my cars, every 6 months or so. But it depends on how your vehicle is stored. It depends on your road conditions. Do you park under a tree? So all of that stuff factors in. So one, the type of product, but then two, what is your paint exposed to? For me, a general rule of thumb, if the car is clean and dry and I rub my fingers across the surface of the paint and it's pretty slick, right, like kind of smooth as glass or close to it, my paint's probably in pretty good shape. Additionally, if you rinse the car down and the water beads up pretty nicely, I'm probably in pretty good shape. But if you rub your hand against the surface of the car and it's kind of gritty, even after it's clean, you probably need some TLC. You probably need some surface protectant, maybe a little bit of polish. Additionally, if the water on a clean car just kind of sheets off and it doesn't really bead up, you probably have no protection in the vehicle as well. It's time to either get your quick applicator product or your wax on, wax off Karate Kid product, whatever you want to go with, but it's probably about that time.
Tony, we got about a minute, but I was wondering, what does the regular washing do? Does it really do things like protect against road salt and UV fading and bird droppings and all that?
Yeah, so your clear coat kind of protects your paint from all of that stuff. So your waxing protects your clear coat, kind of give you a sacrificial layer, but then also the washing process, it gets that stuff off of your paint quicker, especially with things like bird droppings. The longer they stay on your paint, the more damage it can do. They'll quickly go through your wax and then start to eat away at your clear coat, and then you have bigger issues, right? So the washing in a timely manner and in an effective manner is very important, but also keeping that surface layer protection in the form of, wax, ceramic coat, or whatever is important to not just looking good, but protecting your vehicle and your investment for the long haul.
Tony, it has been a pleasure having you here on the show. We really appreciate it.
Last Saturday was a blast. The boat races.
Oh, yeah, it was. We had a great time.
A need for speed. I think we saw a bunch of cool stuff. Jamie was sending us videos after she hung out down there.
Yeah.
But I saw your video this week in your side-by-side. Somehow you were recording yourself as you were driving through the woods. Yeah. And it looked like you needed the need for speed at that point, like you were driving pretty fast. What happened?
That's what relaxes me. I can get out there in the woods, either in the side-by-side or on a dirt bike, and just ride, and it relaxes me. It clears my head a little bit, and I just feel better. And, yes, I did that video.
So if everybody didn't see your video, talk to us about what happened. There was a little incident you had, like something happened with the side-by-side?
Well, I've had a couple of incidents. On the side-by-side, I stopped to watch some deer, and when I cut it off, I waited for the deer to go out. I didn't want to scare the deer. So I cut it off, and when I went to start it back, I was way back in the woods. I'm not sure if I would have had cell phone or not. But anyway, it dragged a lot, cranking up, and it scared the heck out of me. I said, what in the world would I do? How do you get this thing out of the woods like this if you're stuck? So I went ahead and had a new battery. Now, I did go ahead and call around. I found that my best deal would have been Advanced Auto Parts because I really wanted that AGM battery.
Yeah.
And DieHard makes a good AGM battery. And so I did get another battery. That thing spins over really good now. Now, a while back, that same thing happened on my motorcycle. I mentioned that one time before. I didn't do a video on it, but I topped the hill, and about the time I got to the top of the hill, a big log was laying across the road, and I hit it, and then I fell sideways, and it fell on my leg, and I couldn't get the motorcycle off my leg. Well, I finally got it off and got it up there. I kind of messed my leg up a little bit, but it did the same thing. My motorcycle dragged, and so I put an AGM in my motorcycle also, and it spins over really good now. And I got it from Advanced Auto Parts.
So that would be the recommendation on people right now. It's really pushing AGM batteries.
Yeah, well, that was what I had at the end of that video. Yeah. How old is your battery? If that thing, when I started thinking about it, mine was the original battery, and that was a 2021 side-by-side. So that put it 4 or 5 years, about 5 years at least, years old. And so I put one in there, and now it's good. I didn't want to wait until it did leave me stranded on there.
So how often should somebody check the age of their battery, or if they're going in for an oil change, should that be something they ask?
Oh, yeah, that should be. Well, they shouldn't have to ask. Most companies should be doing digital inspections by now. At one time, very few did. We've been doing them many, many, many years. But now most places, if they do a service on your vehicle, change an oil filter, lube, it involves a vehicle inspection, and that's normally a digital inspection. And on there, it should list whether your battery is good, bad, or marginal. And if it's marginal, I'd replace it. But even if it's 4 or 5 years old, I'd just go ahead and replace it. It's not going to get any better after that, I promise you.
So on the report they get from the shop, will it show that digital reading? Should the consumer be looking for that?
Yes.
And so, again, you can always assume that all shops are out there doing the right thing, but you gotta, as a consumer, you need to be looking at that stuff on your own.
What we love for people to do, now some people's just in too big a hurry to be able to do it, but when you can, take that digital checklist to the service advisor or the technician in some cases, and just say, can you go over this with me, and let them point it out. Because we get people that they'll wonder what an item is. It'll be like a check mark next to timing belt. Well, the check mark might mean that your car does not have a timing belt. It might be not applicable on that vehicle. But other things might be a yellow, and oil leak might say yellow. Well, a yellow, you might have some seepage somewhere, which all cars have. And unless you got like a showcase garage that you don't want any oil dripping at all, then you may get something done. But if you've got something that we say, well, my driveway's not going to get messed up if a little drop of oil falls on it, you might be a case where you can go for years with that same little bitty seepage like that. But it's good to go over somebody with all those things so you know if there's things that you need to do right away or if it's things that you can wait on.
Yeah, I think we're just in such a digital age. I mean, I even tell consumers from the collision side, if you're in an accident and you go to pick it up, and there's, if there's an alignment been done, if there's a scan that's been done, if there's calibrations, whatever documentation that you need is to request that information because it's yours.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a bad thing to ask for it. It's to have it for your protection. And the shop, if they did it, they shouldn't have a problem giving you the information. So I tell everybody, always ask those questions.
Yes.
Just because it's good to have.
Yeah, and almost all alignment machines will do a printout now.
Right.
I mean, you can ask for the printout that way. If something's not quite in there and it's not adjustable, then you would know it. I had a customer call me, and it was a good friend, runs a collision shop. I think no doubt you know him. I know you. He called on Thursday. He had a customer that had a 2018 F-150 that had a start-stop system problem. And it wasn't that it stopped working. The problem was it started working after it had never worked before, and then it went into the shop, had all the repairs done, and then when it come back out, it was working. And so now the customer, when he pulls up to a stop sign, of course, the vehicle cuts off, unless he disables it on every trip, which is a pain in the butt. So he was asking me, did I have any way to disable that? And, of course, some vehicles, it is in the scan tool. You're right, or we have the factory equipment, and you can reprogram it not to work. But it's very seldom that we see it on a vehicle. It's on some and not on others. So there's companies. I did a little research, and I knew it was. That's the reason I looked immediately online. And there's a lot of little kits you can buy to bypass that thing. And some of them are as simple as just plugging into the AODL. Other ones you just plug into the wiring harness in a certain place, and it makes it to where the stop-start system don't function anymore. So we try to get cars back to original. So unless it's able to program it, we don't really do that type stuff. But I did want to let people know it's available on there. And, of course, you also got things available to bypass that fuel management system on some of the GM products that killed the cylinders and all that, because that's been kind of a catastrophe for a lot. It's ruined a lot of engines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking at something, I would say just do your research on different things, because most of that, if you could think of it, high probability – Amazon have it or somebody have it.
Well, I just get nervous with people, especially on cars today. You say, hey, go online and buy a scan tool, and then you hook up to your car and they start messing with stuff that they don't really understand what they're messing with.
Yeah.
That you can create a big disaster.
Yeah.
So just be cautious of that. If you're not familiar with it, I would say, hey, go talk to an expert. Let them give you some advice on what you need to do and how to do it right, versus just starting to mess with your car.
Yeah, I would read stuff only. I wouldn't try to do any type of reprogramming on anything unless it's on the dash. Usually if something's on the dash to where you can reprogram something, then it won't affect the permanent type storage of the computer, and you can always go back to where you were. But just be real careful with that. We got some big news, a lot of stuff going on in the automotive world. I thought it might be good to go ahead and mention to people. It sounds like Pep Boys, just known for its Manny, Mo, and Jack logo. They've had about a 105-year run, but it's being sold to Mavis Tire Express Services. So Mavis paid roughly $700 million for the deal, and the move would roll nearly 800 Pep Boys service centers into the Mavis platform. Looks like you'll see less Pep Boys and more Mavis. I can't say I've really heard anything bad on Mavis. I hadn't heard anything good or bad. I don't hear that much on them. Their stores look reasonably well when you go past, but I don't know any details on that other than that is a lot of stores. You talking 800 Pep Boy stores that'll be gone.
700 million though.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the backing you got to have for $700 million to be able to buy something.
To be real though, that really didn't sound like that higher price for that many stores.
Yeah.
It seemed, well, if you include the business and the stores in that deal. Now, not everything was there. There was a few things that was left out of there that Icon wanted to keep.
Right.
But that just didn't seem like that much of a major price. Now, here's
real
another
estate
biggie.
included?
We need to go ahead and mention this one real quick too. O'Reilly bids $10 billion to acquire Napa. So O'Reilly has placed money on the table to purchase Napa Auto Parts from Genuine Parts Company. So that'll be a big shakeup in the industry if for some reason, if that is approved and everything happens. There's some cities that only have a Napa and an O'Reilly. So you'll have one place to get parts.
So you're seeing all of this consolidation in every different sector. It seems like now it's hitting the parts side of things, and obviously with Mavis and Pep Boys, the service side. So, when does that bubble stop?
Yes, it's not going to stop anytime soon. Investors are buying up a lot of stuff, and I mentioned before, when an investor buys a company, they got two goals. One is to make money, and number two is to make money. That's what they do. All right, let's go back to some garage questions.
There you go.
All right, because this is something I thought about, and I really wanted to ask Lane. In doing a garage and getting a garage done, have you ever seen any kind of collectible type item that you've uncovered that was there?
I don't think so off the top of my head. Typically, when we come in to do a garage, when I meet with the client at a consultation, their stuff is in the garage. But by the time we come in to implement our storage systems, everything's already moved out, so we've got a clean working space. So off the top of my head, I can't think of anything like that.
How about any exotic cars that were parked in any areas that you were working with? Somebody wanted something done for a beautiful vehicle. Yeah.
As far as exotic, no. But we have done some cool projects where we build the garage around a specific car. Just one off the top of my head, we did a job for a client out in Harlem, and he had a Hellcat Red Eye that he wanted to build the garage around. So we did a black floor for him and did a custom logo. Just put that in the center of the floor. He was putting lifts in the garage and everything. So he now has a one-of-one Hellcat Red Eye garage floor.
Now, this garage floor, are you able to put the logo built into the flooring, or is it more of a sticker type thing that goes over the flooring?
So it's a sticker. If you want certain designs, we can do that, but it's very expensive to do so if you don't want a sticker. But we use a high-tech concrete vinyl, and much different than your average sticker. And what we do is we'll do the floor like it's a finished floor like we're on right now, put the sticker on it, and then seal over top.
Oh, it'll be covered up, so it'll almost look like it's built into the floor.
It absolutely is built into the floor.
All right. And so any cars that you have found, like a classic that was stuck in a garage that nobody knew was there? You hadn't run into anything like that?
Unfortunately, I hadn't, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. I've always dreamed of having one of those beautiful garage signs. There's a little device on the wall behind me, and I thought that was kind of neat, a little thing for the garage. Now, this is not anything to do with things that Lane does. Matter of fact, I think this is just something you can hang up there yourself.
Yeah, you can buy it on
but it's
Amazon.
a little deal to where it mounts to the wall in front, and you can set it to where it turns yellow, green, then yellow, then red on how far to pull your car up. I thought that was kind of neat.
Those sensors are like $20 or $30 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And they're super easy. It's a cleaner way than doing the tennis ball method off the ceiling. Highly recommend them.
That was always the thing, man. Tennis ball off the ceiling.
Yeah.
I know. You can get them even cleaner than that too.
Yeah. So I might look at one of those. Yeah. I would love to. As a matter of fact, that's the reason I was so excited about you being here, Lane. There's a lot of things that I would like to do to my garage to try to make it look better. And just sitting here thinking about it, it's given me a lot of great ideas. I have more like shelves like right here, but I would like to get cabinets in there eventually. Garden tools. My wife loves to do the gardening and stuff like that, and having a place to put all those tools would be very nice. So, and you mentioned slot wood would be a good thing for those type items, or
Yeah.
at least think about.
So we do slat wall. We do plenty of slat wall. There's two different types of slat wall that we do. We do PVC and then wood. But regardless, it's a great cost-effective way to just get things up off the floor. You got all sorts of different hooks that you can hang rakes, ladders, shovels, ratchet sets, drills, you name it on. But just odds and ends, and it doesn't take up much wall space. It comes off the wall about a ½ inch, so you don't have to worry about depth in vehicles. So it's a great method just to clean up a little bit.
And you can see it real quickly when you're there. The best excuse this week, it was a speeding excuse. Guy was speeding. And this week it comes from a guy in Canada. He was going 69 and a 37. Now, of course, it's different with their speed, the way they measure. But it was basically 69 miles an hour in a 37 zone. And his excuse was that he had just washed his car and he was blowing the water droplets off. So he was double the speed limit, and that did qualify him for an excessive speeding ticket, which included a very nice 7-day vehicle impoundment.
What?
Yep. Evidently, they impound your vehicle when
In
you
Canada?
That's under excessive speed.
You'd be in bad shape, Aaron.
Yep.
You'd have to have multiple cars.
That would not be good. So that was the best excuse. Now, the next thing we want to mention is something that you were telling me about.
Yeah.
And that's the BMW has a thing to where they're mentioning that they recommend factory headlights. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I read this week BMW has come out with some new statements really centered around the windshield and headlights and having to do with the ADAS systems in the car. And I think a lot of people don't realize these cameras and stuff that are working at night, all work off those looms in that headlight. And, the unfortunate thing is on aftermarket headlights, they may not have the same looms as a BMW headlight, right? Mm-hmm. How those modules hook into those headlights, there was some talks in the information that they were sharing that there are problems with programming on the car and software updates and stuff, where if you put an aftermarket headlight, the software updates can be, they won't go through because of the aftermarket headlight. So a lot of different stuff. We talk about the sophistication in the cars every week with all the electronics, and I think this just plays, more into that factor. Hey, it plugs up, it looks good, but long-term viability of how the car operates is not going to be the same. So that can be a challenge for a collision shop that's talking to an insurance company that's doing that, or let's just say you break your own headlight and you say, hey, I'm not going to file a claim, and you go to the body shop and you say, hey, I just want to do it as cheap as possible, and they offer you an aftermarket headlight, but you don't know the implications that come with that choice, right? And ultimately, it's your car. It's your choice. If you want to do it, just know that there could be other problems that could come from that. When it comes to the windshield, with the cameras in there, with how the glass is cut, a lot of those things play factor in how that windshield camera is reading through that. And sometimes it won't even calibrate. And then you're taking a windshield out, just like we talked to T-Banks a few weeks ago about window tint, and he's seen those things happen. And I think we've talked to him at the Ford dealership where they've had issues with aftermarket glasses come in on trying to, calibrate a vehicle. So very important, just things that are continuously happening in automotive. BMW is tightening down on who can buy their parts now and looking for certified shops because it is specialty tools that you got to use in some of these.
BMW is they plan to stop making parts for some of their older model BMWs. So you may have a list of parts that you may not be able to get, period.
Yeah.
So that's coming. Ready to go to the calls?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. We will go over to the caller. And Mike, welcome to the C&C Auto Show, and what can we help with? Hello? Okay. Mike, are you there? Okay, going to return him back over here and try that one more time. And we don't have. Okay, all right. I was saying that the BMWs are set up to where there's going to be many parts that you can't get. I love a lot of aftermarket parts, and as a matter of fact, I think it's very important for aftermarket parts to be there, because if you didn't, and you think about it, and there was not aftermarket parts, the manufacturers could decide when your car is no longer usable, because they could quit making parts for it, and nobody else would have parts. And you would pretty much have to get rid of the vehicle because you wouldn't be able to get certain parts for it that would be needed. So
I'll say there are definitely some good companies out there. You've definitely opened my eyes to seeing, like, Dorman products. Like, I think Dorman does a fantastic job. They produce a lot of great parts, on the mechanical side, that is really helpful for shops and for consumers that maybe you can't get from the manufacturer anymore. So I do agree with you on that aspect that, but it all depends on that aftermarket supplier too and their quality, right? Like, so not every aftermarket is the same.
Right. And I wouldn't take everything for granted also when you're getting parts. There's so many places to research different things. And I'll give you an example. Lane here. I did a little research on Garage Experts of Augusta. And I said, I just want to get known. I went to the internet. I looked at the website. I looked at your Google reviews. You don't see many 5-star, 5.0 Google review ratings. Usually they're 4.6, 4.7 is considered good. His was 5, and a lot of great people wrote in. You can do that when you need a certain part. You can go in and find out the experience everybody else has. And, of course, dealing with somebody that's got a lot of experience in that area is very important. Also, for instance, most shops, we've been around, 40, 50 years, and we've touched the stove many years ago, and we know where it's hot. We know where not to touch that stove at anymore. And so because of that, we have experience in certain areas. So at least know people like that. If not, go to people like that has experience in what they're doing. Lane, how long have you been in business?
Garage Experts of Augusta has been in business since 2018. Mm-hmm. I have owned it since, it'll be 4 years in October. Okay.
And the company itself is probably much older than that.
I believe 17 years.
Yeah.
But you grew up in this area, right?
I did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm a big local guy, right? I love local businesses, and I think the intentionality and your care for your customer is completely different than just these corporate, organizations. And we're seeing more private equity companies out there that, again, you're just dollar signs to them. You don't actually really matter. And you live here, you grew up in this area. Like, you want people to know, like, hey, I do a good business. No different than C&C Automotive. So,
exactly. Have you ever did a floor and had to redo it?
Absolutely.
So that's what I say. And we have done things at the shop where we had to completely redo. So experience does mean a lot in what you're doing. Now, of course, that don't mean that if a new company comes along, they're not good. But I'm saying that you do go through that process, that learning process in whatever field you're in, whether it's garage experts or whether it has to do with collision consultants. David, you've probably seen things you say, I wish I'd have done that a little differently. I believe I could say this next time and probably get that person a lot more money.
Every claim's a little different. You're always learning. The market's always changing. And everybody's story's different, right? And so for me, it's about hearing that story. A lot of times, I had a lady that called me yesterday, and she was flustered with trying to get the insurance company on the phone because all she got was AI people talking to her. She couldn't get to a human. So when I answered the phone, I said, "Hey, this is David." She said, "You actually answered the phone, and it's a real person."
Are you human?
She was just so built up, and she's like, "Do you have time to hear my story?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Let me hear from you, and let me see what I can do to help you." And I think there's a lot of people that are looking for that. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of AI that's in everything. And
makes you want to punch the thing and see if it's real. Okay, that wraps up wraps up the C&C Auto Show for this week. We are live at a garage in Evans, Georgia, and a big thank you to co-host David Clark and our show producers Mason Rogers, Mariano Lopez, and Trip Clark. Also, Lane, man, we enjoyed being here, enjoyed you being here with us and mentioning the things that you did about the garages.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we appreciate you being here. We'll see you again next week with a fresh new C&C Auto Show.